All right, welcome guys to NBA live stream here for Game 5. Thank you all for coming out and checking out the early live stream today. Figured again it was better to do a earlier live stream than no live stream at all. So I'm going to do a quicker one today, but I'm going to be talking about Game 5 shit on slate. Still a lot of money to be won in this one. I'm going to briefly kind of go team by team, talk to the players I like, leave a little bit of room for some questions at the end. News-wise, there's really not much we're waiting for. Again, I expect same starters here, that being Holiday, Middleton, Giannis, Tucker, and Lopez for the Bucks, and Paul, Booker, Bridges, Crowder, and Ayton for the Suns. As far as the total goes, the 219.5 over under the Suns are currently 4-point favorites. So, Suns won the first two at home, Bucks won the next two at home. Again, been a great series so far, and hoping for another good game tonight. So we'll start off the Milwaukee Bucks, and Giannis did it to combo. I don't think I'll just spend a ton of time here. He's going to be about 90% owned, as he should be. 71, 69, and 66 fantasy points the last three games. I really have a hard time seeing him failing. You're going to need something really weird to happen against some severe foul trouble or something like that. So as long as he plays, 40 to 45 minutes and this game is competitive, I think Giannis will be in the winning lineup. And I think he's probably someone you want to go to for building a cash game lineup in the captain spot too. Whether you put him in the captain and get 3 more stars or go a little more balanced, maybe 2 stars, and again, maybe someone in that mid-range. But yeah, really like Giannis. Don't want to spend a ton of time on him. Middleton, Drew are where it gets tricky here. I think Middleton has had more games where he's kind of taken over with Giannis in the lineup. Drew can have good games with Giannis in the lineup, but it's a lot more rare. So Middleton, we're talking straight up, still would prefer him. I mean, if you had the salary, again, I would rather have Middleton than Drew. However, what I will say with Drew Holiday is he had an awful shooting game last game, 4 of 20, and still went for almost 40 fantasy points. So he's a guy that can do the peripheral stats. He had 7 boards, 7 assists, 3 steals. Previous game, 5 boards, 9 assists. He's a guy that will get you probably close to double-digit assists and is a good rebounding guard too, and also is a good defender, so he can get some blocks and steals. So still like Drew. Again, if he has a decent shooting game, the upside is definitely there with them. So it's really close to those two Milwaukee Bucks guys, that being Middleton and Drew Holiday. Now, can you play them both together? It's going to be pretty contrarian, right? Maybe if you go that super contrarian route and you fade Giannis and hope for something really weird to happen. If you do that, again, I would lock in both Middleton and Drew, because if Giannis has a really bad game, that most likely means Middleton and Drew Holiday are going to have like exceptional games. So that's kind of thoughts of the main 3 guys. Again, could you play all 3 of these guys together in the same lineup? It worked, 2 slates ago when Milwaukee blew them out. So if you think the Bucks come out and just kill the Suns, then yeah, that's a viable build. But really, optimal build-wise, you probably want to pick one to 2 of these top 3 Bucks. Now, Brook Lopez, still don't have much interest in him, even with the price decrease. Played under 20 minutes last game, 21 and 19 minutes. So probably going to continue to pass in Brook Lopez. Bobby Portis is in play because he played 20 minutes last game. He is a solid point per minute guy. We've seen 18 and 20 minutes from him last couple games. If he's going to continue to play close to 20 minutes, I think he's a good tournament play because, again, he is a guy that's a great point per minute guy. Now, will the minutes be there? I'm not convinced about it because he can get burned in the defensive end, and we saw him only play 5 minutes 3 games ago. So there is some risk here with Bobby Portis, but I think he's in play for tournaments. And then we have some safer value plays in content. Tucker, both should play over 30 minutes in competitive game. Both guys should close too, should be in closing lineup. Neither are great point per minute guys, but again, content has been really solid last 2 games. 25, 18, 24 fantasy points, playing over 30 minutes in all 3. Tucker's been in a little bit of foul trouble, and obviously, again, he's not the best point per minute guy, but if he stays out of foul trouble and plays 30, 35 minutes, you're probably going to get around 15-ish fantasy points from him, maybe a little bit more. So like both Content and Tucker, I think they're safer value plays. Last guy I'll mention here is Jeff Teague at 1.8K, not because I love him, but because the price point is really cheap, and he should be in the rotation. 12, 14, 11 minutes last 3 games from him. Again, not the best point per minute guy, but you can go there. Bryn Forbes got a DNP last game. Now, is there a chance he's back in the rotation in this game, plays a little bit? It's possible, but I don't think I want to roll the dice there, and that is really it. So pretty simple on the Bucks. Let's go up to the Suns, and then we can get to some questions. So Booker and Paul at the top. For me, I'm going to prefer Paul to Booker, even though it didn't work out last game. I like that the price went down a lot in Chris Paul. Again, the worst game I've seen from Chris Paul, I think, ever. That was an awful game. I think he bounces back, and I think we get about 35 to 40 minutes from him. He's a guy that normally has a pretty high floor. The peripheral stats, again, just had an awful game, turned the ball over a ton. I don't think he continues to play this bad, so I like going to Chris Paul with the price coming down about $1,000. Devin Booker had a great game last game. However, he was not in the winning lineup. Crazy, he had 42 real-life points and was not in the winning lineup because the lack of the peripheral stats. Right, he becomes a little bit riskier. He is riskier than Chris Paul more often than not because he becomes a little more scoring dependent when Chris Paul is in the lineup. So Booker, obviously still in play. The upside is there. If he's knocking out his shots he did last game, he can still go for 50 fantasy points. But, I don't love the price. I think I prefer the price on Chris Paul. And then DeAndre Ayton, once again, I think looks too cheap. He's 8K, should play about 40 minutes. The only risk you have with DeAndre Ayton is foul trouble. And we saw it 2 games ago. He's on pace for a massive game and then got in severe foul trouble and lost a ton of minutes. So if Ayton stays out of foul trouble, we should get about 40 minutes. Frank Kaminsky's really not going to play unless something weird happens. So I think Ayton's a very, very safe play here. The only thing you have to worry about is potential for foul trouble. If he stays out of foul trouble, she'll get you a double-double. She'll get you a few blocks. So, yeah, Ayton, I like a lot. Jay Crowder at 7-4 has been playing really well. Had a massive upside game last game for 41 fantasy points. That is kind of his ceiling. But 33, 32, and 41 fantasy points. He has 3 blocks, 3 steals. He needs to be out there. Again, they'll use him at Giannis at times for defensive purposes. 37, 39, 33 minutes. I think we get about 35 minutes from him. Now, I don't love the price. Would much rather play Ayton at a similar price. Rather pay a little bit more for Chris Paul. But if I'm going to go to one of those guys in the mid-tier, once again, it's going to be Jay Crowder for me. I think they need him out there for as many minutes as he can, whereas Mikal Bridges has really been losing minutes, right? 27 and only 26 minutes, was not in foul trouble last game. The minutes were just not there. They wanted to play Cam Johnson more. They wanted to give Jay Crowder more minutes. So Mikal Bridges, he had the one upside game in game 2. Other than that, he's been pretty bad. 19, 9, and 15 fantasy points. The price is almost 7K, so it's just nothing more than a dart throw, contrarian play. Is it possible he gets really hot and nails like a bunch of threes like he did in game 2 and they leave him out there for longer? Sure. Anything is possible. I don't think it's worth it to go to it at that price. So I'm probably just going to pass on a guy like Mikal Bridges. And then we got to talk about some value here for the Suns. So Cam Payne at 4.4K did play 17 minutes last game. There was some foul trouble for Devin Booker. I think we probably get around 10 to 15 minutes in a competitive game if there's no foul trouble for any of the guards, which makes him playable because he's a decent point per minute guy, but would rank him behind those other value plays in Connaughton, Cam Johnson, and PJ Tucker. So Payne a little bit more contrarian. Cam Johnson, I think, stands out a good amount here at 4K. 30 minutes he played because of some foul trouble for Ayton 2 games ago. But last game, there wasn't really any foul trouble. I guess Booker was in some foul trouble, but he played 29 minutes. So, he played more minutes than Mikal Bridges, which, at this price, give me Cam Johnson over Bridges all day long for 3K cheaper. So Cam Johnson's going to be popular tonight. It's for good reason. If he plays close to 30 minutes, I think he's one of the better value plays on the board. And then finally, again, not because I like him, but we got to mention him, Torrey Craig the price, 2.4K. Should get about 15 minutes and a decent defender. Can knock down some threes. He's in play because he'll see the court. That is really it. Again, you're not going to feel great about playing Torrey Craig, but he probably allows you to get 4 stars in if that's the direction you want to go. And that's it. Kaminsky got a DNP last game. Unless this game turns into a massive blowout or something really weird happens, I don't think he sees the floor. Abdul Nader got a DNP last game. It's going to be tight rotations from both sides here. So that is really it, guys, for my breakdown. Got a little over 10 minutes left for some questions. So leave them in the chat real quick. Again, if you guys are just coming in, if you could, leave a like button on the live stream. I know it's an earlier live stream, so not going to get a ton of viewers. But let's try to aim for 40 likes on this live stream. Would help me out a lot. Every single like allows more viewers to get in here. But yeah, leave some questions in the chat, guys. Let me know what you think. All right, DK, who you got at captain, Giannis, Ayton, or Paul? So, optimal build-wise is Giannis. But those other 2 guys, I'd like a good amount if you want to go to them in the captain, that being Paul and Ayton. So, for tournaments, I think both Ayton and Paul are good plays. But if I'm building a cash game lineup, it's Giannis in the captain. You don't mind playing all 3 Bucks? Yeah, if you play all 3 of the main Bucks together, it's going to make your lineup different. It really is. Ayton way too cheap. I agree. I think he is too cheap. I think Chris Paul is too cheap, even though he was a lot down last game. So let's see. Does Chris Paul bounce back? I do. I think so. He really struggled turning the ball over. I'm not worried about it. Right? It's harder to go to a guy after a bad game like Chris Paul, but I think he bounces back. First 2 games in Phoenix, he had 53 and 40 fantasy points. So yeah, I think we get somewhere around there. I think we get. If I had to guess fantasy point-wise, I would say 40 to 45 fantasy points from Chris Paul, which I will take all day long at that price. So I do think he bounces back here. I don't think he continues to struggle, and I like the price point on him. Ayton or Chris Paul. Yeah, I think those other 2 guys I like for tournaments for sure. Now, is Devin Booker out of play? No, not at all. Again, if he gets hot, he can take over games. It's just the lack of peripheral stats, obviously, is a little bit concerning. But he played 38 minutes and was in some foul trouble last game. I think we probably get 43, 40. He's barely going to sit out. And, again, he is not afraid to shoot the ball. We've seen 25, 28, 21 shot attempts from him so far, 3 of the last 4 games in this series. So I still have some interest in Booker. I just think, point per dollar, Paul and Ayton probably look a little bit better. Let's see, Chris Paul, Ayton, Giannis, Drew, Cam, Craig. Yeah, I think it looks really solid. Live this early. Yeah, I had to do a little bit earlier because I have plans later, so not going to be able to do a later live stream. So figured I would rather get a live stream in than do no live stream at all. Favorite contrarian captain? That's a good question. So if it wasn't Chris Paul or DeAndre Ayton, let's just see. If we go Cam Johnson, the captain, is that worth it? I still don't know if it's worth it to go someone super, super cheap. So I'll say this. If I was going to play someone really cheap in the captain, I think it would be Cam Johnson. But my other contrarian captain I would look to, if it wasn't Chris Paul or Ayton, maybe a Drew Holiday because of the really bad shooting game last game. I think that might get some people off him. But yeah, I really think I think you want to go to one of those top 6 guys in the captain. So yeah, I guess super, super contrarian, Drew or Cam Johnson, but I think I want to focus on Giannis, Paul, Ayton captains. Let's see. Do I lose more money on playing Chris Paul again? Hope not. I hope not. Yeah. Devin Booker does not. Yeah. I mean, he is he can get some of those peripheral stats, but he's definitely more scoring dependent with Chris Paul in lineup. Now, we saw those games when Chris Paul was out where Booker had a triple double, right, and he ran the point a ton. That's when he really stuffs the stat sheet, is when Chris Paul is off the court. And I think this game is a pivotal game, obviously, in the series. Game 5 is massive, so I think Chris Paul plays a little bit more. We only saw 15 first-half minutes from Chris Paul. I don't think we see that again in Game 5. So, I think we get 40-plus minutes from Chris Paul. So, yeah. Captain Ayton with Book or Captain Paul with Drew? That's a good question. I'll go the second one. Haven't finalized it yet, but I think I like Chris Paul or Ayton to get a little bit different if I'm not going Giannis, which, again, Giannis is still the optimal play. I know I've been saying that every single stream, but he's the guy you should play in cash games, even in, tournaments. You can still play Giannis in the captain and get different. So, don't just think you have to not play Giannis in the captain if you want to play tournaments. You can definitely play Giannis in the captain. He has been in the winning lineup in the captain spot, the last 3 games? So, more often than not, Giannis is going to be in the winning lineup in the captain spot. You can still get different with him in the captain. Whether that be maybe you build a little more balanced lineup, or maybe you leave a little bit of salary on the table to make your lineup different. Maybe you leave 1,000 on the table and try to differentiate yourself. You can still get different with him in the captain. Drew Middleton, I really think it's a 50-50 call. I never have a good read in those two. So, yeah, that one's tough. We're in the final stage of the Middleton cycle, meaning he's going to explode tonight, going to be trash in Game 6 and 7. He's so up and down. And same with Drew Holiday. They're both very up and down. Is something wrong with Chris Paul's wrist? Yeah, I did notice that a little bit. I'm honestly not super worried about it. I think he's tough. I think he'll gut it out, even if it is something... I think we would get news if it was something pretty bad. So I'm not super worried about it. Prize Picks over-under. Yeah, Prize Picks has been pretty spot on, I think, with these projections. Let's take a look. I think a lot of people like going over. So we have Giannis at 62. Feels probably right. Brolo 20. Bridges about 20. There's honestly not much I love here. Maybe a lean to the under on Devin Booker at 43 fantasy points. But that's not confident. I think if there's not something I really like, I just stay away, right? And that's what I've been doing the last couple of games because it's been a really tight board. Nothing really stands out, and I don't want to bet just to bet on Prize Picks. So if I was confident with something, I would say it. But there's really not much I'm confident on Prize Picks. Yeah, he's been bad. I agree. Chris Paul's been bad. You got to remember Middleton is Kuzma when he's not in Milwaukee. Do Draftkings finally unbanned in Louisiana? I heard that Louisiana is the 44th state now that's legal. It's legal in most states. DK gonna go hurt the weights later on tonight. Not tonight, but because I'm not in. I'll be in Chicago driving back tomorrow. But under for Drew. Yeah, he's at 42. That feels a little high. It does feel a little bit high. Again, I feel like people enjoy going over more than they do under on Prize Picks. So Prize Picks recently has been putting the players a little bit higher, I think. But, like, still, these feel pretty right. Captains are just throwing chat. Yeah, so Giannis still is the guy I like. Tournaments, optimal build-wise, like, he is the guy. He has been in the captain spot, I believe, the last 3 slates in the winning lineup. And you can, if you're worried about ownership, you can still get different within the captain. So it is still Giannis. I know a lot of people like try to get too different, but Giannis is still the guy. If I am not playing him, I like Paul or Ayton. And someone asked me my super contrarian ones would be Cam Johnson if you want to get really different, hope for an upside game. So he has played 30 minutes off the bench last couple of games, or Drew because he had an awful shooting game last game. But I think it's Giannis and Paul and Ayton are the 3 guys I'm focusing on. Cam Johnson a priority. Not a priority, no. But I think he's one of the top value plays on the board. I think he is too cheap. If we get close to 30 minutes again, I like him a lot. Now, my worry with Cam Johnson was 2 games ago was he played big minutes because we saw Ayton foul trouble. Where is he? Right, he got these 30 minutes because of DeAndre Ayton foul trouble. This game, yes, Booker was in a little bit of foul trouble, but he saw more minutes than Mikal Bridges. Right, he was actually getting closing minutes over Bridges. Bridges only played 26 minutes, was not in any foul trouble. So Cam Johnson played more and is about $3,000 cheaper. I think he's one of the better values on the board. Straight up, CP3 or Ayton, choosing between the 2. Good question. Straight up, it's Chris Paul for me. Even though he's awful last game, got to have short-term memory. I know he's been really bad last 2 games. Trust me, he has not looked good, but I think he bounces back tonight. Let's see, what else? Yeah, it's not a ton has changed, honestly. The player pool is pretty tight, too, because, like, both teams ran, like, a 7-man rotation, right? Milwaukee, was it 7? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-man rotation. Teague played a little bit, and then Phoenix was, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, both teams ran an 8-man rotation with, the 8th guy playing a little bit. What else we got here? Let's see. Ayton, Giannis, Paul, Cam Johnson, Crowder, Pat C. Okay, so that is a build with 3 stars, right? 3 of the top guys, and then you have 3 good values in Johnson, Crowder, and Pat. Oh, I guess Conte or Crowder more in the mid range. I don't mind that. Again, I think I'm fine doing that because if you go pick 3 of the top 6 guys and go one of those guys in the mid range, you can get 2 really good value plays, and then you don't have to play guys like Craig. Then you don't have to play a guy like Jeff Teague. So I think that build is pretty safe, right? If you pick, you can still go Giannis in the captain too, pick 2 of their stars, and get like upgraded values if you go someone in the mid-range. Again, that was the winning lineup last night, right? It was Giannis in the captain, and Jay Crowder was that guy in the mid-range. So I think that build looks pretty solid. I think it's pretty safe. Bridges can't match up with Giannis and Middleton, and Cam is the better shooter. I expect more of the same. Yeah, I think so too. I think we get close to similar minutes for Cam Johnson, and Bridges, it's hard to get really excited about him. He did play 38 minutes in Game 2 because he played really, really well. But I think you're going to need one of those massive outlier games for Mikal Bridges. Other than that, again, the minutes really have not been huge for him. So I don't love the price. Craig's I'm fine with. It's what he allows you to get in, as I always say with him or Jeff Teague. They're going to be in the rotation. So Craig will play about 15 minutes. He can still have upside if he can knock down a couple of those threes. Ayton captain with Giannis, Booker, Paul, Cam Johnson, Torrey Craig. Yeah, I like it. Right, you got 4 stars, 2 values. Looks pretty solid to me. CP3 captain for me. Do you think his ownership gets lowered? So, I don't know because the price dropped a lot. Right, he had a bad game last game, but he dropped from 9.6 to 8.8K. So I think he stands out as one of the better point per dollar plays. I think he's going to be similar. I think about 50 to 60% owned for Chris Paul is my guess. He was 55% last slate. He had an awful game, but again, price dropped. It dropped about $1,000. Summer League starts. It's like early to mid-August, so we got about 3 weeks or so. And Olympics start in just over a week for basketball, so they will have contests for that on Draftkings, and I will be covering it. I believe the games will be early too. I think it's going to be like 8 a.m. games, so it's going to be a lot of early stuff for the Olympics. But yeah, Summer League. It's about 3 or so weeks. All right, guys, any last minute questions, or I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate you guys coming to check out the earlier live stream. I'm really excited about this game tonight. Really, I'm hoping the Bucks continue this hot streak and pull off game 2. I think if they win this game tonight, the series is over. So pulling for the Bucks here, even though they're dogs. And again, really just hoping for another great game, because that last game was phenomenal to watch. It really was. It's been a good finals. All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for me. I'm going to go stream for Patreon. So good luck. Enjoy the game tonight. I hope you guys all win big. And I'll be back here for Game 6 video as well as a live stream. So I will see you guys all then. Good luck.